In the Sri Narasimha Stuti, verse 10, written by a leading disciple of Sri Madhvacharya, his name was Tripikaramacharya, we hear how Lord Nrisimhadeva burns his enemies. Dear Lord, the effulgence of many suns is destroyed by your uncheckable potency. The many weapons sent against you are like sacrificial offerings, and you reply with unlimited weaponry. Put down, strike, and slay my illusion. Burn Nrisimha, burn my adversaries with your unbearable power. May the fire, born out of the friction of the teeth of Hari's saw-like arm against the chest of the demon, purify you. On the demon's skin, this fire made the noise chatta, chatta. His flowing blood created the noise chama, chama. The fire burning his fat made a loud daga, daga sound, while the fire burning his bones created a loud cracking sound, kada, kada. And as for Narasimha's cooling effect on his devotees, at the end, I was reading at the end of the Nrisimha Purana, Sutta Goswami says, quote, "Thus I have made you all listen to this entire Nrisimha Purana, for it removes all sins and makes men free from all pain. It ensures success in auspicious deeds and offerings. People who read or listen to either one or a half hymn of it seldom die with their sins." Now that same Purana, the Nrisimha Purana, even guarantees release from hell if one chants the holy names. In his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.36, Srila Prabhupada writes in this regard. In the Nrisimha Purana, it is said that as the residents of hell began to chant the holy name of the Lord, they were elevated from hell towards heaven. Now I also read that Durvasa Muni has supported this view. He's written, Muchyeta yan nam yudite narako pi. Simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, the inhabitants of hell became released from the hellish persecution. As we see, Lord Nrisimhadeva can be terribly ferocious. He can be super kind, and he can even be super sweet. He picked up Prahlad Maharaj and, licked him. He got an abhishek like lions do their cubs. So he can be very sweet. And this is also indicated by Srila Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. These 12 different kinds of transcendental relationships are represented by 12 incarnations of God, and some examples he gives. Well, a few examples he gives. One, he says, the incarnation Kapila represents Shantaras, because Kapila emphasized a passive meditation. And then Rupa Goswami says, Vamanadev represents Sakyaras, because he had a friendly relationship with Indra and acts as the doorkeeper for Shutala in lower planetary systems. Then, as we're concerned today, he writes, and Nrisimhadev represents Vatsalyaras, or parenthood, because of his regarding Prahlad Maharaj as his son and placing him on his lap. Rupa Goswami, he says Nrisimhadev represents Vatsalyaras because of this mood of parenthood, when he took Prahlad and put him on his lap and like that. Well, actually, we generally think of Nrisimha in an angry form. Angry form. But here we see Rupa Goswami describing him in a very sweet way, representing Vatsalya. Sridhar Swami, who is Prabhupada describes as the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, he writes, "Let me offer my obeisances unto Lord Nrisimha, who was always enlightening Prahlad Maharaj within his heart, and who always kills the nescience that attacks his devotees." And who always kills the nescience that attacks his devotees. His mercy is distributed like moonshine and his face is like that of a lion. Let me offer my obeisances to him, Nrisimha, again and again. Famous verse. Nrisimhadeva appeared in the month of May, so they say, well, that's why May is always so hot. And Nrisimhadeva is famous in that way for the fire that emanated from his form. He's called Jwala Nrisimha, the fiery form of the Lord. And we hear about that fire emanating from Nrisimhadeva in a number of verses. For example, the famous verse, Ugrim Viram Mahavishnu Jwalantam Sharvato Mukham Nrisimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityum Namamyaham. I bow down to Lord Nrisimhadeva, who is ferocious and heroic like Vishnu. He is burning from every side. He is terrific, auspicious, and the death of death personified.